Awesome. Hey, welcome to Coffee Connect. I'm so happy to see everybody today, man. It is going to be an amazing Tuesday as we are entering into really this kind of 4 week sessions of discussions on technology, people, why we sometimes accept or refuse the technology that's at our hands, right? And hopefully, we pick up some skill sets and understanding of all of this stuff that's being thrown at us. I was looking on LinkedIn yesterday, and it's like if you're scrolling, it's AI posts like something about AI, something about AI, something about AI. Oh, it's a person. It's something about AI, something about like 10 out of every 11 posts is something about AI, and then you might run into something that's personal or something like that, and so it's kind of crazy, but we're going to run into a whole month of technology. We know from a job seeker standpoint, it's frustrating. From a business owner standpoint, it can be frustrating, right? And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about what makes us frustrating and then talk about how we can hopefully fight through it and make these things work for us the best way possible. And if not, know that we always have options, right, to go back and doing it just the way we were doing it before. Right?
I'm pretty sure that Jeff Hexter is just AI.
Yeah, yes, Jeff GP. He's just a robot, right?
Yeah.
He is, but he's also out of date.
He's just a
still
bot.
version 0.92.
I don't. I'm
Pretty
still.
sure an update rolled out last
I'm
week.
still in beta.
Yeah. So it looks like we might have some new folks with us. Please, new folks, just understand that we will give you the mic at some point to introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are, what you do, and how we might be able to help you. If you enjoy the conversations today, email me at ccinfo@addictedtoconnecting.com. I'm happy to get you added in to the invite list. So let's get to moving, right? Technology, adaptation, future skills. Guys, today is not about like we're going to dive into all this technology. I want to really kind of dive into why we as humans today may accept or reject that technology, right? And what we can do. I mean, I want to share just kind of experience that I've had, right? A couple things. Personally, I got excited, man. I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 years ago, the company came out with some things as far as how we can navigate social media and our marketing campaigns within email. And I feel like, and I track stuff, but I haven't been on top of this. And I had an epiphany this last month or whatever, for whatever reason. And I was watching all these things for the last 4 or 5 years where there would be 2 emails sent out and one would open. And a month later, I'd get another 2 emails that maybe were sent or something. And I know it's not that the campaigns weren't set up. The campaigns were set up, but for whatever reason, my contact list and the emails that I have within my my prospects, my clients, and stuff like that I have was not being fed into this thing, right? Crazy enough, I finally got sick and tired of it this past week as I was diving into this. I was like, this is something that frustrates me with this technology, and there was a setting in there, right? Jeff is probably laughing right now because he's 9 times out of 10 there's just a setting somewhere that somebody clicked on, and that's what's prohibiting you from doing what you need to do. I unchecked the setting that I didn't know really what it was doing. I'll be honest with you. But then a day later, I got my accountability email comes through and says 85 emails were sent. I'm like, whoa! And a third of them were opened, right? I mean, I went from two, right? I was walking at a less than a snail's pace, right? To all of a sudden now I've got 85 people. So now I just got to go back through and relink all those emails and stuff to my clients and stuff. So people are getting the communication that I want them to get, right? And that was a tough thing because we all try to be more efficient and effective at what we do, and we know technology can help us in those manners sometimes, but at other times we also know that it frustrates us that we end up going back to doing things maybe the old way, right? And so we know it's changing fast. The real challenge, right, isn't the change itself, it's how we're going to respond to that entire change. And that's what I want to focus on today. Okay, is how are we responding to technology that comes out? So I'm curious, does anybody else in the audience have an example of maybe when technology was presented to them, and maybe they were excited about it, maybe you weren't excited about it. It doesn't matter what your response was. Uh, you know, I want to hear the story. How did it evolve? What has changed over time? Somebody's got to have something.
I have something.
Yeah, Brandy.
Give me half a second though. Excuse me. I had to help build and create the applicant tracking system for the last company that I worked with. So that was a major undertaking and challenging, but my end goal was to make it effective for the candidates as well as the leaders using it. So going through that whole process really enlightened me on how difficult it is to build and construct new technology.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing. And then making it functional it makes it even more difficult, right? Uh, Anybody else?
Well, you and Jeff would probably say anytime I try to use Zoom. um, yeah, I'm often frustrated by just technology, just because in my mind it should work this way, and often it doesn't. So I get frustrated, and you know,
You know, we're all old enough to really recognize the computer age of technology. I also want to go back before that. Like think about before everything was digitized, right? And uh, you know, the technology that maybe arose was um, being able to digitally see uh, how many miles per gallon you have left, right?
I,
Something like that. I mean, that's a digital aspect of it, but it's not so much computer generated. It's just a mathematical equation, right, of what's left in your tank as compared to what your car can get. But there's so much beyond the computer side, I think, as well. Uh,
I had a tough time with my abacus one time trying to get it to do what I
you
needed
know,
it to do.
surely when fire was created, even right, not everybody embraced it. Right, there were probably people that said, "Oh my gosh, that's evil stuff," right? But then eventually it caught on that man, there is so many other uses for fire. Okay, and today I think we look at AI sometimes just like that. There are people looking at AI and the technology that we have before us and stuff like, "Oh, that's evil," and yet, don't call you Shirley. You're right, and yet it is such a useful tool. Karin.
So I actually realized why I have concerns about AI quite, which is, so stick with me for a minute. In 2005, the USDA announced that it was going to tag and track every head of livestock in the country. By the way, that meant tagging and tracking every single head of poultry. So every chicken, duck, and goose. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, part of how it was sold, which is what I'm hearing about AI, is the inevitability story. Everybody's doing it. It is the wave of the future. This is the thing you need to do. And that happened with this animal ID program, and it was sold to all of the farmers in Australia. They were told everybody in the US was doing it. So they said, well, we better do it too. And they adopted it. And then all the farmers in the US blew up. And I was very involved with killing the program. And in that program, one of the things that was going to happen was the Cattlemen's Association was going to host the database that collected all the information on the birth and death and weight and the age of every head of cattle in the country. What could go wrong if the Cattlemen's Association has data on every on the volume of cattle available? So I have real concerns about people doing something just because everybody's doing it and being told everybody's doing it. And then also the potential for scraping of data and it being misused, because it will happen. So
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a way to stop nefarious things from occurring in the world. There just isn't, right? We have to understand that with technology, there are evils out there that also could occur, right? And negatives that could affect the use of this technology, how it's perceived, and all kinds of other things as well, right? And so, for sure, I can understand where you're coming from, Karin. I think most of us probably do. Daniel, what you got, man?
For me, technology I use technology to better enable human interactions. I used to use it to, more in depth, when I was working in IT. But I remember back in college, geographic information systems were brand new. This was before Google Maps, before GeoCities, whatever, Yahoo, MapQuest, that whole thing. And the idea that you could be able to see a list of, what's going on this particular intersection at any particular time was really fascinating to me. I think that um, technology that I didn't really like was when I was required in engineering college to program in Fortran, and the only way that I could see my program was to compile and send the output to a text file that I had to go upstairs and get a print off on this green bar paper. I didn't really enjoy doing that very much.
Dot matrix printer. So, yeah, yeah,
I,
for sure. I,
I
I think we all have probably examples of frustrations that have occurred, right? As well, probably success stories that have occurred in our life when new technology has come to bay, right? I threw in the chat real quick, and this is not any official quiz. There are no right or wrong answers, guys. This is just a series of questions that hopefully will get you thinking about how am I receiving technology, right? How am I reacting to technology or new things or change, right? It's not just about technology. I could come to work. I could come here today and say, hey, we're no longer doing Coffee Connect at 10 o'clock. We're going to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning. And some of you may go, what? Well, I guess I'll never be there, right? Some of you may go, that's an opportunity for me. I want, I don't have anything going at 4, and it's, often hard for me to clear 10 o'clock. But that change and how we react to it, right, is what I'm talking about here. So please open up the, you don't have, like I said, you don't have to take the quiz. It's not going to feed into any algorithm today or anything like that. It was just to get you thinking about those things as far as how, what's my reactions to a tech change or even a change in general. Trying to go back to sharing here, but it's not working for me. There we go. So that's the quiz, right? What's the reaction to the technological change, right? Why did they move this button? Why did I just update this yesterday? Why does the new version look worse, right? I think recently, in 2015 or so, the USS Gerald Ford was being built, and for the first time ever, the Navy was going to go away from using steam catapults and hydraulic elevators on their aircraft carriers to using magnetic rails. Anybody that lives close to Cedar Point and Kings Island, you probably know what I'm talking about as far as magnetic rail, right? They use it a lot on the roller coasters. And while it looked great on paper, right, it was supposed to be more efficient, more effective, less maintenance, right? Operate faster, right? Launch planes in a more rapid manner. And it has been nothing but trouble. Right, and so much to the point that the president announced last week that we are no longer going to be doing magnetic rails on aircraft carriers. We're going back to steam catapults after CVN 82. Right, there's 3 Ford class that'll have magnetic rails, and then the rest of them will have steam catapults again. And so, not all the time does technology necessarily, move in the direction that we want it to. Okay. And I think we just have to realize that. And so we're going to go to breakout, guys. And I want you to just kind of talk about, what emotions come up when you hear about technology changes that are coming out, or share a moment that maybe the shift in technology maybe had you in a spiral and you were like, I just don't understand what to do, or maybe it was overwhelming, or whatever it might have been, right? And so, Jeff, are you prepped?
I'm prepped.
All right, we're gonna go for about 10 minutes, guys. I will see you back here.
I've got 3 people in the rooms.
Sounds
Okay.
perfect. Yep.
All right, go.
Yeah,
Go, guys.
I don't know what it is, but I was going to look into it. But it started to come in some of the interviews that I'm doing where they're asking me if I've utilized AI and what is the extent of my experience.
Tell them you used actual
Fortunately, there's a lot of
AI.
easy training. What's
Do what?
that, Jeff?
Tell them you
GPT?
used AI, actual intelligence.
Yeah, there you go.
So, so when technology is presented, raise your hand if you feel overwhelmed sometimes. Right? Depending on, AI came out, it is a really large opportunity, right? And there's so much or information on it that it's hard to garner what might be good or what might not be good. And so I think those are valid emotions and experiences that we go through. How many of you guys got excited about it when technology comes about? Yeah, I think there's a little bit of mix of both.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think it's dependent on what it is.
Yeah, I absolutely.
New kitchen tools, yes.
and, and that's one thing that I mentioned, and just to be very brief, that I made a comparison in our breakout between a disruptor technology, which can have a net positive impact, and a disruptive technology, which is something that really brings no positive value to most people.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to see a shift from the general perception of AI being disruptive to people recognizing how it can become a disruptor in a positive way. And a lot of technology goes through that transition as it becomes mature.
Yeah, I think we've seen that all. That's a great point, Chris. I think we've seen that all, not just with AI, but think about things like Facebook, right? Even LinkedIn. I think we've seen the technology where it looked like it was going to be great, but then it was used for other things, right? Karin mentioned, we've talked about nefarious things. I mean, for sure, Facebook and Google have been caught doing some crazy stuff, guys, right? As far as capturing our stuff that we're looking at, and where people have felt like their privacy has been violated and things like that. That's horrible, right? That's not a productive manner at all. And so I think we have to think about that. Flock cameras, that was just on the news this morning. I don't know if you were hearing that too, Craig, but they're using flock cameras to help find stolen vehicles and stuff. Right? I personally, I go, that's awesome. Unfortunately, there's also a group of people that go, that's an invasion of privacy.
I was just telling the group, that the breakout group, how I've been talking one-on-one with Kevin Ashton, who coined the term the Internet of Things. And he and I, when we first met, we were talking about the fact that he became the evil empire, because this whole notion of all of this interconnected stuff in your home and in your life was just like mind blowing. How could that be? But think about how when you get in your car, your phone automatically connects to your system, and your smart stove and refrigerator and TV and all, everything's all connected, and how actually good that's been, unless you're just really dead set against it. But I think any time technology comes along that is just mind blowing for people, it becomes evil.
Yeah.
I would challenge a word you used. I would ask, is it good or convenient? And they're not necessarily, convenient doesn't necessarily mean bad, but the question I ask is, good implies that these kinds of things have a are inherently somehow moral. I would use the word convenient, because they do provide something that is beneficial to our lives, but not necessarily in a good or positive or moral way.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I would say, speaking for myself, which is the only thing I can do, yeah, it's been great.
I,
Thank you, Alexa.
I actually
Yeah.
heard a news story a couple weeks ago where people are actually looking for dumb houses now instead of smart houses. They don't want all their appliances and everything connect and lights and thermostats and all of that connected anymore. That's the newest trend.
I'm going to be honest with you. So about 2 months ago, we bought a Samsung refrigerator that has AI technology installed in it, and I can go to the grocery store and actually look inside of my refrigerator and see what's there and what's not. And it has been awesome, right? For someone who don't like
Rest of
taking,
us, Rodney, and
right.
you really should be embarrassed.
for someone who doesn't like taking notes of what needs to be bought in the grocery store, right? But not only that, but it does so much more. I mean, there's purpose to it. I can say, hey, create me a recipe with whatever's in my refrigerator, and it will. So there's all kinds of good to it. But I agree as well with Carla. I think there are people that are just out there looking to get away from it as much as possible, because one of the things I think we've all noticed is that all that technology also decreases our actual connection to each other, right? And so if you looked at the quiz, you might have looked at the quiz and said, hey, if I answer these questions, again, you may not have. I think it's a telltale, like, where am I at? And Catherine used the term early adopter, that her parents were early adopters of technology all growing up. And I said, I don't think I'm ever like, I've got to be the first and I've got to have the best or anything like that. But I've always been, oh, that could be kind of neat. Let me dip my toes in the water a little bit and see what's going to happen with it, and then I may upgrade at a later date, right? And so I think this is just a teller of, like, how are we receiving that technology, and it doesn't say anything bad about us, but I think for us to understand how we can either accept it or reject it at some point, we have to understand how we react to it, right? And that was the purpose of the quiz, and kind of, it's not obviously an overarching psychometric tool or anything like that, guys, but hopefully it just got you thinking about, how am I looking at technology? And Karin, I seen something this morning about AI legal, right? That's dangerous, right? That's dangerous. And you might look at that and go, how could anybody trust something on that could be AI adapted to legal standards when, oh my gosh, we got 50 states. There's, I don't know how many different countries, right? Legality wise,
I mean, actually, so I think people think I'm the AI hater. No, there are some terrific AI apps for the legal profession. But we are still professionally obligated to check. And so, you have to know the query, which is, show me where you got that citation from. So yeah, I mean, right now, but yeah, the tools can be very handy. So
and that's important too, that as we're going through things, understand, I always ask it to give me the citation, right? But it's not enough to ask for the citation. Like, I literally have had it give me citations. I click on the link,
right.
And it goes nowhere.
Right.
You have to check all those links. Check every one of them.
You have to check every single one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you still have to make sure that the citation is relevant, because even if it gives you a correct citation, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to fit in whatever it is that you're preparing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, it could be your whole argument. You just didn't read it all enough.
As leaders, we've always learned about expect what you inspect. Right? Expect what you inspect. And meaning, if you don't go back and check all those links, and something comes up horrible, whose fault is it? It's not AI's fault, right? You as the leader or the person that asked for that generation, right, should have went back and did it. Technology can often make us feel behind, confused, maybe even inadequate sometimes, right? Truth is that it's just harder than what we were normally used to, right? And the other truth of this is that you've all done hard things before, right? Raised kids, bought homes, established a relationship with your spouse. Those are all hard things too. Maybe high school was hard or college was hard for you. Starting your business was hard. There's all kinds of things that we've done that have been hard. And unfortunately, we look at new technology changes or just changes in our life as, oh, that's going to be difficult, right? And I think we need to put that in perspective, right? That yes, it could be hard. But as Chris pointed out, and so many of us had the conversations here, is that it could also be productive, right? It could also be useful. It could also bring new tools to us that we didn't have before. And so, Jeff, are you good? We're going to go to breakout number 2. We're going to shuffle them up a little bit, guys, and just share some examples maybe that you've had of successful adaptation. And again, it doesn't have to be technology, right? It don't have to be computer-driven technology. It can be, you know, the invention of the wheel book allowed me to collect phone numbers a little bit. I don't, you know, but you guys get it.
You want the same 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
All right, it's ready.
Whoever made this slide, the Ubuntu logo is not lost on me.
That was AI.
I saw that too. You're not the only one. I saw that as soon as that came up. I'm like, I know that logo.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Here it goes.
That is interesting, Rodney,
Right.
because I've often wondered that.
By far, probably one of the most terrifying technology adaptations that my wife and I ever did, right? And I shared everybody, I said, 2007, we bought our first hybrid car, a Ford Escape hybrid. My wife had it for years, decades, almost, right? Ran it into the ground, and then we then she wanted another Ford Escape hybrid, right? And that's what she's on right now, is her second Ford Escape hybrid. But it was one of those technologies back in 2007 that everybody swore up and down that I would have spent $10,000 to replace the battery and everything else. And I said, other than oil changes, tires, and normal stuff that you would, you know, spend on a car, that car never gave us any problems until the end of its time, right? And so,
where we live in this part of the country with our winter weather, I'm always concerned about those people that drive electric only vehicles and being stuck in a snowdrift, and then the battery runs out. It's one thing to run out of gas. I don't know if these rescue places come by with a battery to recharge your battery now.
sometimes you don't even have to be stuck in a snowdrift. Ain't that right, Tim?
They'll just bring a diesel generator and plug you in.
Really long extension cord.
You got to have things charged for sure.
And make sure it's an outside cord.
Tim got himself stranded once.
When your phone is
What's
your
that, Pam?
key-
Make sure it's grounded.
Yeah.
when
No.
your phone is your key,
Make sure
you
it's
better
a-
make sure your phone stays charged.
Yeah, that was the other thing of it.
Make sure it's rated for outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So things can be adopted, things can be adapted, right? But things can also turn around on us. Like I mentioned, the magnetic rail systems and stuff. I mean, not always is technology going to go the way maybe we had hoped or whatever. But the worst thing we can do is not embrace it, and then all of a sudden somebody else has a huge competitive advantage over us in our businesses, in our lives, in the defense of our nation. I mean, all of that stuff could be true, right? And so I think we have to find ways to figure out, how can I use this? Can it be used for good, or do I need to shy away from this, and do I need to be aware of the possible downfalls of it all, right? And there's no doubt, right, as we're all sitting here, that technology is going to continue to grow. New things are going to continue to pop up, right? Hopefully we have innovators out there that are thinking right now, like, what is the next wave of stuff that we can do? right? It's not going to stop at AI. And so it's always going to be our ability to adapt, right? That's going to help us get through things. And so you don't need to know everything. You just need to remember, right, that you've done the hard things before. And for sure, we can do them again. Awesome, guys. Well, listen, I'll let you go at this, right? It's 11 o'clock. Go out there. Have a great week, everybody. And remember, I love you guys, all right?
All right, thank you, Rodney,
Yep.
and everybody else.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a great week.
Bye.